We were in the Caravan and Motorhome Club, and in January we decided to leave. As you know, most people were supportive. We did get a few people that were really upset about it, told us that we weren't welcome, never to come back, and threatened to have his windows potted on his motorhome, having a race on motorbikes to prove who's the fastest, and all that kind of weird social media stuff. Did we make a mistake leaving the Caravan and Motorhome Club?
I do a lot of the planning for the campsites, and typically, because I've paid for the club, I will pick a club site. So I was quite excited to think about alternatives, independent sites, and not be sort of structured and thinking that I need to go to a club site.
So the reason why you pick a Caravan and Motorhome Club site is because we've paid the membership. So psychologically, you wanted your money out of your membership.
Yeah.
I think that actually happens.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people do the same thing. How about you?
So for me, I wanted to come out of it because I just found that it was getting expensive for what it was. I think we were getting £47 a night.
Yes.
And on top of the membership fee. And I think one thing that stuck in my head was that they said that we were getting discounted at £15 a night. And I just could not understand why the pictures we were going on were actually worth £62.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
And it's just like, you know, although you're paying £47, if they're saying, well, actually, you've got a discount, you think, I'm not getting a discount. It don't really set me off on a good footing. I don't feel like it's a genuine offer that they're giving us. And then the other thing is that they're quite generic. And I think one issue that can occur when you travel around in your motorhome, sorry, did I just cut you then? Is that when we've got the curtains closed and the blinds, we could be sat on our drive, we could be sat in Scarborough, we could be sat in France. And that's a nice thing because you've got all your stuff, your stuff.
Real things around you, haven't you?
And that's an amazing thing that you can travel all the way around the world with your own stuff. But then when you open the blinds and it looks like the last place you were last weekend and the last place you were last weekend, and you think, well, why have I travelled for 4 hours to come here if it looks the same
as last weekend?
Because I didn't like the dynamic pricing. I didn't feel like they were much of a club. It were more of a business, and I think it's changed over the years. So.
Yeah, I think I've thought of something else with you talking about being, you know, you could be anywhere, is that, and I suppose it's a good and bad. You know what you're going to get in the toilets, the bathrooms, but they were just all the same, and sometimes a little bit dated.
They're very clean, but
very
just
clean.
As you know, if you use it, they are clean. They're well looked after, and they are well run that way. But they're a certain style. They're not that trendy, but that's how it is. So I think there are reasons, aren't there?
That's right. Yeah.
What's it like actually going to Caravan and Motorhome Club sites? What were the reality of it? Because I know we joined up because we were excited to be
we've
doing
got
this.
a motorhome. That's
it. We wanted to be part of a club and be a part of the community.
We didn't research it. We just signed up for it.
Yeah. And we didn't join the camping and caravanning club for any other reason other than we just did the Caravan and Motorhome Club first, But what's it like in reality? Does it feel like a club?
Not really.
You don't think so?
Well,
you feel like you belong to a community?
No, I don't think so.
Do you feel?
I don't think so. Nothing ever happened to me to feel that way. That doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't, but we didn't go to a rally, did we?
No, we didn't.
Which might have changed.
Could have changed it, yeah.
And we didn't use the CL.
No, and we didn't pay attention to the forums or anything like that.
No, we didn't. So maybe we didn't embrace it.
That's it. That could be our fault.
Yeah.
So, let us know. Do you get really involved in the club activities? Is it worth it on that point of view?
We used to get a magazine and we never wrote it into the magazine.
No.
We never sent a picture into the magazine.
Did you read the magazine?
I skimmed it.
Yeah, I skimmed it.
But again, we didn't join in that way either, did we? We could have thought about doing that, I suppose.
So that's something to think about.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think if you do any searching on forums about Caravan and Motorhome Club in particular, they say that some people have bad experiences with wardens. We never had that. All the wardens were fine. I think we only had one.
Person.
We had one rude person in the entire time, and we were staying at a lot of them. And that's one of the problems. I think you can go on a forum and it goes, the wardens are rude. And it means you think, well, that must be all of them. But honestly, we didn't have that. We found quite friendly ones. They do have a lot of rules, I think, more rules than other places. So then if we go across to the Camping and Caravanning Club, the one, we've only stayed at 2. So this is not representative of the club because we haven't done enough of them. We can only speak on the 2 occasions that we went, where I found that they were very welcoming at that one. Yeah,
they showed you to the pitch, didn't they?
Yeah, a bit more personal.
Yeah, we liked that.
Yeah, whereas at the Caravan and Motorhome Club, you've got to go back to the office and tell them which pitch that you've selected, which is fine. If it's not good weather, it's not so fine. If it's lovely, you can just stroll around and enjoy your surroundings. In our experience, the toilets for the Caravan and Motorhome are better than the Camping and Caravanning.
I would say far better in our experience.
The 2 that we stayed in, they were rusty.
Extremely tired, weren't they?
Taps, and it looks like it needed a refurb. Now, we've noticed as well that one of the big bugbears is people turning up early. We were always later to these sites. It didn't affect us. So it didn't affect us, and they always accommodated us to ask us what time we were going to be there, and they were always there to help us. So it can be a problem if you turn up early, but if you wanted to turn up late on the Caravan and Motorhome, it's not a problem. And just before we leave this subject, we did take advantage of the discounts. And we used to, because we were new to all this, go outdoors. The first year, we more than made up for our discounts.
Coats, tables, chairs, pots, pans.
That's it. So our membership fee was more than covered than what we saved on that stuff. So it is worth doing for that alone, I think.
We have found some cracking independent sites. They vary, I guess, just like any sites. But I'm being very happy so far with the independent sites that we've found.
I think a lot of them are family run.
Yeah.
They're very
smaller.
Personal, typically. They're smaller. They have a different feel altogether. Like you said, they're varied. You go from one to the other. They look different style, and different
feel, different vibe. Yeah, so we've stayed at some larger sites, haven't we? We've all seen the larger sites, varying degrees of cleanliness and happiness and all the rest of it.
But then you get that on the smaller ones, the little family ones, it feels
fantastic. We've done some really good ones, haven't we?
And actually, this is one of the differences between independent and the clubs. And I know it sounds silly, but I feel like I'm camping. Whereas at the club, sometimes I feel like I'm in a car park.
Squeezing you in, you're squeezed in, aren't you?
Yeah. So there's no need for, parking between different pegs.
We've never had a peg at an independent site.
No. Why is that funny?
And I don't even think that we've had a bigger pitch on a club site than an independent. All the big, the big pitches have all been independent.
The prices of the independent sites are up and down.
Vary a lot.
Whereas with the clubs, you kind of know roughly where you're going to be.
Yeah, you do.
But the independents can vary wildly from what I'd class as a good price for a campsite and where I'd expect a campsite to be to wow, we're getting into hotel price.
Sort of £20 to
50 odd.
We've booked some over the summer that are excessive. 60 odd pounds.
Even more. We're going to get to them later. Price comparisons, real world examples. So when we left Caravan and Motorhome Club, I think the most we were paying per night was about £47.
I think so, that's about right, yes.
That were, around Christmas time. Pretty much same at Caravan and Camping, because we did some at Christmas, didn't we?
Something to know, that was free dogs.
Dogs are included, and electrics included as well. We're not going to go into the electric issue because we know that there is an issue on that. We're going to cover it in a different video, but that's what the claim is, that it's free electric. So you know what you're getting, and then that's for 2 adults as well.
2 adults, and
3 dogs. And there are facilities for dogs. We have found as you know, if you're watching it, but we have found on some independent sites that you pay for dogs, but there is literally, and I don't mean just as being fussy, but literally nothing for the dogs. And to walk them, you take them into the public park, or you've got a public right of way through the campsite that you can walk your dog for free, as long as you're not staying there, and then you have to pay for it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's interesting. As far as for the price of the campsites, yeah, we've done some like Stratford Racecourse. That was £22
That's right, yes. No electric.
So with no electric. But then just top end of the scale of what we class as independence, I suppose. Haven's not independent, but it's a big site. We actually, at Thornwick Bay, this were a couple of years back.
Yeah, in August.
We paid about £61 for the night.
And that was a grass pitch. That was just a...
It wasn't even grass. It was just a lump of mud.
A pitch.
It was a lump of mud.
It's terrible, actually, wasn't it?
Horrendous. So the big thing with the independence is there is extra fees. There's a baseline fee.
Yes.
And this is not on all of them, but on a lot of them, it's a different pricing model. And we think we know why this happens. Where do you book?
Directly. Well, there's a number of ways. You can call them, you can email them, you can online systems, pitch up.
Pitch up.
Yeah.
And I think this is why this exists, because you can search by budget. Okay, so you go on there, if somebody's budget conscious, and then you put the figure in. So I want to pay £25 a night. Well, you can get listed at £25 a night. So you go, oh, I'll have that, please. Oh, do you want any dogs? Yeah. Okay, well, that's £3. Ah, well, well, I want to go here anyway. Oh, well, do you want electric? Well, that's extra. And then they start adding fees on, and that's
we've had booking fees and all sorts.
Booking fees.
Yeah.
So you have to. What, booking fees with the actual campsite?
Some of the summer sites, we've had to pay booking fees, administration fees, non-refundable. Have I told you about that?
No.
Yeah, there's this campsite coming up over the summer. We've had to pay an admin fee.
So
But I booked it online.
Let me just work out how that works then. So you're booking with that campsite to stay on that campsite, and they have a price for that that you pay. But if you want to actually book it, then they want some extra money just to put it on their system.
It was £3. Admin fee that I couldn't untake.
What do you think of that? An admin fee to the actual company? Now, I get it if it's a third party that's got to process it and send it on.
Yeah, I did it directly on their website.
But this is their actual... What do you think to that?
We've booked quite a lot of independent sites now, and that's the only one I've ever seen.
Yeah. Now, one thing is that does come up in the comments, well, if you don't like it, don't book it.
Yeah.
And which is a valid point.
Yeah.
But you got to think why we do this. One, because we enjoy this lifestyle. But if we only chose places that we'd like, then obviously you might like other stuff. Yeah. So we like to go to places
different types of places.
Of different types. And then it gives you a choice of what you want to look at.
And
also, you know, I think the more that we do it, what we like, we might not consider something, but then we go and try a different style. It's like, actually, that's all right.
Yeah.
So that's why we do it. So, you know, it's a very valid point. Don't complain about the price if you're going to book it and pay for it. We keep doing it. But the reason why we do it is so that we can do more of the country, more of the different types of campsites, and we can show you what is available. And then it's your choice whether you think it's worth it. So hopefully that clears that bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're such martyrs where we got to go to the campsite.
You know, nobody has to go to the site.
Yeah, that's it.
We're showing you.
Show you where it is. Caravan and Motorhome Club and Camping and Caravan Club, they have websites that you can book through. Yep. Which have you found easiest to use?
Not the Camping and Motorhome, or Caravan and Motorhome.
What, you find that hard?
Yeah, it never always works. We know there've been IT glitches with the site there. I like to look at a map. Sometimes the map doesn't work. It stretches out. Yeah, I don't think it's that great. I mean, I can book online, and I like that. It's convenient for me. But independents sometimes aren't as easy because you've got to call them. Yeah,
and for me, if I were doing the booking, if I can't book online, I think I'd just move on.
Bin it off, yeah.
Yeah, I'd go and find ones that I would. What's the easiest one to book online? What system?
Probably Pitch Up.
Pitch Up?
Yeah.
Now, they do charge a booking fee.
Yeah.
But they're a third party. Do you mind paying that to Pitch Up?
I'd rather it go to the independent. And there's been a couple of independent sites that have said on their website, you know, we are on Pitch Up, but please book directly. It's better for them. Because they don't have to pay the money. They get all the money, don't they?
Right. Well, I wonder if Pitch Up then charges us, but then charges
Take the £6 off or whatever it is, yes.
Well, I suppose... But
go direct. We do go direct if we can. We do that.
But Pitch Up, is a service.
Yeah. So some of these independent campsite websites have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good. They give you suggestions at alternative dates if they can't fulfil the dates I wanted. Quite like that. I think I can jigger around my plans and we can go different times.
Does it feel like there's somebody supplying them with a website and they all follow it?
Possibly, yeah.
A similar thing, a similar system, yeah. Fair enough. One thing I would say about booking from Caravan and Motorhome Club site, they do have dynamic pricing, something that I disagree with. If you're in a club, I don't think if you're at a working men's club that everybody should have different prices of pints. You're either a member or you're not. You should do that. Because I do think it's becoming too... You've got to make the distinction, are you a club or a business? If it's a business, it's like TUI or EasyJet, that's a business, that's how that works. But if you're selling yourself as a non-profit club, then I don't agree with the dynamic pricing. Do you agree with the dynamic pricing? Let us know in the comments why you think I'm wrong. Last thing that we're going to talk about with the prices, dog prices. So we didn't pay any dog prices. Not
at all in the clubs. Didn't pay for the dogs at all.
How much have we spent up to now on dogs?
Oh, a lot. Over £200.
Woo!
Whoa.
That's a...
You what? Did you realise?
No, I didn't. Are we paying less per booking, per night?
So some are £1. Some, we've got one site again, over summer, they're £10 each.
A night?
Yes. Whoa. You what? Yeah. So we've actually, if you think about it, we've left the club and we've paid over £200 for the dogs to sometimes have absolutely nothing to do.
Do you feel like with these are extra fees, aren't they? Is the base rate cheaper than Caravan and Motorhome Club?
Yes.
When you put the dog price on, what happens now?
Yeah, maybe it levels out a bit. It depends on where you're going.
Does it ever get more expensive, do you think?
Maybe just the same. Maybe the same.
It'd be interesting to actually sit down and work out, which I suppose we'll have to do. We'll have to do at some point and see how much it's actually cost. We'll get back to you on that one. Do the clubs have better locations?
Not necessarily. I guess that swings around about. Sometimes, yes. There's 2 locations that we wanted to go to this year, and they've only got camping and motorhome club sites in walkable distance of where we want to be, not independent. So,
I think that's one of the things. It's the walkable distance to where you want to be.
Yeah.
But we did have that bizarre situation just in the new year.
Yeah.
Around Christmas time, New Year, where we'd booked in a site. We had about an hour's walk into the town.
Yeah.
And it was more expensive than staying at a hotel in the town.
Yeah, with the dog.
Yeah. So that were a bit of an issue.
Has happened.
Because when you've got dogs getting taxis and things like that, it's not as easy. Not all taxi drivers are happy to take them.
Again, you can swing that round. We've been to some sites fairly recently where they haven't had a club site close. So we've had to, we've chosen an independent. Sometimes there's been 2, 3 independent. So actually I can cherry pick the one that I like the best.
Yeah.
So that's been good.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of the independents, I've enjoyed the flexibility. I feel there's a lot more choice there. And we've had quite a lot of recommendations from people and I've looked and, oh yeah, that's a fantastic choice. Great location. I think we've touched on it, but yeah, there's been some sites some places where we wanted to go this year that we've not been because we've only got a club site.
Right. Okay.
We've been strict with this. We've not been to a club site.
Yeah, so we wanted to see how the experiment went.
Yeah. That was independent, yeah.
Independent. But for me personally, I do like the variety.
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely. You don't know what you're going to get.
Do you regret leaving Caravan and Motorhome?
Sometimes I do, yeah.
Honest answer, sometimes I do.
Do you as well?
I do, yeah, sometimes.
I thought you were going to say no.
Nope, sometimes I do, I think, because I regret it when I go to a real wowzer of a site that's just, you just think you're just having a laugh.
Yeah.
There is something to be said about knowing what you're going to get. I don't want to know what I'm going to get all the time, but there's sometimes where I just think, I don't want any hassle this weekend. Let's just go and do that.
Yeah, yeah. So what are we going to do?
Well, I'm not in any rush to rejoin just yet.
Yeah.
Because there's swings and roundabouts to everything. I still stand by with the reasons that I left. One thing that I would say is maybe if they change some things, I'd reconsider. What about you?
Yeah, I think we could reconsider.
It's just the whole get up of, you're saving £15 a night. No, we're not.
That's not true, really.
The whole it's dynamic pricing and all that type of stuff. It's really not. You need to stop. Well, they don't need to do anything, do they? I would prefer it if they were just upfront and said it's that. There's no real savings because you're talking hotel prices, and I'm sorry, but I don't care how well the pitch is presented. It's not as good as somebody doing the laundry and putting a TV in there and putting toiletries in there and having your own ensuite and everything else. It's just not. It's just not. You can't, to me, justify.
Tastes, yeah.
That's it. You can't justify that that's the case. I just don't think it is. And I do think, obviously, prices have gone up.
Yeah.
Everybody's paying more for everything. But if you can do a hotel room, a travel lodge at £26, there's no way that a bit of gravel and a plug is worth 47. There just isn't, in my opinion.
We can't understand that, can we?
No. Let us know.
Let us know, what we're not thinking about there.
So I hope you've enjoyed this, and we hope it's given you food for thought. You know that we do loads of different types of videos, and sometimes we have to be informative and direct and let you know what we're thinking, because ultimately we want to help you and give you something to think about. We're not about bashing the clubs. We think that the clubs do have a very specific role in all this, and some people just love it, and other people get frustrated by it. That's what we're doing for now.
Yeah.
Never say never. The few people that said do not rejoin the Caravan and Motorhome Club, well, unless you're club chairman, you can't actually do that. So we will rejoin if we want to. But for now, we're not going to do. We're going to carry on with the independents. And then I think by the end of this year, we're going to have a lot more experience.
After a full year, we'll check it out. We'll check out the costs with the dogs and things as well to get true cost.
The true cost of
work it out.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all from us. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments what you think. If you think we've got something wrong, tell us, because we're just trying to ourselves get the best knowledge of all this so that we know what to do.
We're trying to figure it out, aren't we?
We're trying to we're trying to figure it all out, as we all are, and it's constantly changing. Rules change, campsites change, clubs change. We shall see you next time. Have you got anything to say?
Yes, please look at Facebook and Instagram. It's fantastic on there.
And we'll catch you in the next episode. Goodbye.